Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. We're going to talk about the machine today, and by the machine, I mean good old Sharuum. We all know Sharuum. You've seen her at tables. If you've seen the Brea video that I did, totally separate video. Brea's got one more color than her, so there's quite a bit more options. But we're going to talk about Sharuum today and all the shenanigans. If you have played against her or played with her, you know what I'm talking about. She's crazy, man. Let's go. First and foremost, we're going to talk about the obvious stuff. Just the obvious combo shenanigans. We all know about the copy versions with Sharuum. You've got Sharuum in play. You play the copy. You let the original Sharuum go to the yard. She goes to the yard. The trigger kicks in. She comes back, and this is a loop. Disciple of Vault rewards you for the loop just like any evil mage would. Obviously, we're going to just combo out and kill the tape, provided nobody has an Urza's armor, which I think I may be the only human that plays with that. Anyway, that's that one. The other one, if you just need to buy some time, if you don't have what it takes to win right then, you can buy some time with the old Thopter Foundry Time Sieve. I'm sorry, that's Thopter Assembly. Thopter Foundry's a different deck. Anyway, you play this, you return it back to your hand, you get your 5 Thopters, you sack your 5 Thopters, take an extra turn, recast this, rinse and repeat. It's infinite turns unless somebody interrupts it. Hard not to win when you are taking a whole bunch of turns. Now, I believe the true all-star of the deck is the clock. It lets you untap your artifacts on everybody's untap step. And with some of these artifacts, that can get really broken because the Mana Vault says it doesn't untap on your turn. Well, that's okay. This says it untaps every turn. I'm good with it. It allows you to activate your anything because you've got so much artifact mana. And we'll go through it. Thought Vessel, mana plus no max hand size. Was glad to see this card printed at 2 mana. Wish there was a full copy available. Dreamstone Hedron. Of course, we've got our Soul Ring. Colored mana is a big deal, and there's not a whole lot of artifact sources of colored mana. Yeah, there are, but some aren't really cost effective. I like the Border Post. I really do, because there's a possibility here that they cost 1 mana. We have the Everflowing Chalice. Everflowing Chalice I like because it's good early game. It's good late game. It's almost never a dead draw. You've got your Thran Dynamo. Now, we are running the 3-color deck, so we got to have the Chromatic Lantern. Got to. Some more colored mana, the Paramoxes. Now, the Chromox, yeah, Exiling sure does hurt, but if you can get lucky enough to get the 3-color, most of the time I use the Magister Sphinx because it seems like the Magister Sphinx is just chilling in my hand, and I have it costs so much, it's a couple turns away. Whatever, and a lot of times, if you're playing some friendly games, you just don't really want to set somebody to 10 that close to death, because it's not hard to do 10 damage to somebody. Gotta have the Lotus Bloom. I was lucky enough to get that one there autographed by Chris Rush. We've got Worn Power Stone. It's a good mana rock. Well, that's when you know. That's when you know you've made something too powerful. When Soul Ring is so good that you can make it come into play tapped and cost 3 times as much and people still play it. Phyrexian Portal. The ability, I don't care how much it costs, 6 to cast, 6 to use, that's fine. The ability to repeatable tutor. With the Unwinding Clock, you can absolutely do some crazy stuff. Last week I tutored, I think, when I said I was done, and I think we were playing 5 or 6 players, could be more. By the time it came back around to my turn, I had tutored 11 times. Because the first time, I already had the clock out. The first time, I had gotten the Ore. I'd played the Ore on my turn, and then I said I was done, my opponents, and by the time it come back to my turn, I just had stupid shenanigans. I love the Ore, though. Ore lets you play artifacts for flash. There's a mirror that does it also, and there's a couple other cards. But I really like the Ore because it can't die to Wrath of God. We don't have a lot of creatures, so we're packing a little bit of board wipe. Love the Veldalken Ore. The ability to respond with a just whatever. I mean, it's artifacts at instant speed shouldn't happen, and that's why I play it. Now we've got our other artifacts. Of course, we have the Unbender Tine, which is the Unbender Tine and the Voltaic Key. Similar cards. They're almost mana ramp because that's more times than not what you're going to do with them. You're going to untap your Dynamo or your Lotus or whatever. Or you might even be tapping or untapping your Lux Cannon. Now, Lux Cannon on the surface does not look like a good card. You got to spend the 4 mana. You got to get 3 charge counters on it. I mean, we're talking, and it taps to put the charge counter on. We're talking a time investment. Well, in this deck, not so much. If you've got the clock, you're going to hear me say that a lot. The Unwinding Clock is amazing. If you've got the clock, you're loading the cannon every turn. Every turn, you can pop something off. We have the Mirror Works. Now, the Mirror Works, I'm on the fence about the Mirror Works. It's good. Ties up a lot of mana in the early game because you feel like everything. What the Mirror Works is 5 mana artifact. Whenever you play an artifact, you can pay 2 colorless more to get a copy of that artifact. Yes. It's good. I'm actually thinking about Panharmonicon in this spot. This is about the only spot I'm willing to come off of. But Panharmonicon's pretty decent. It does get some Sharuum triggers. There's not a whole lot of other triggers besides Master Sphinx. So I'm not sure. I like the way the Mirror Works plays, though. The ability to get double everything is cool. And normally you've got the 2 mana. Of course, Mindslaver. Well, Mindslaver is a... When I use it, it's just a 1 turn. Oh my gosh, he's going to kill me. Don't kill me this turn. I need 1 turn to get my thing off. That's what I do it for. We have, our buddies here. Nevernal's Disc and Scourglass. Scourglass obviously being the better option. You just about don't lose anything to it because it destroys everything but artifacts and lands. So that's cool. But sometimes you got to fire sale stuff. And everything must go Nevernal's Disc. Sometimes it's necessary. It's always necessary when you got the Darksteel Forge. It's kind of hard not to play the Darksteel Forge. You're playing a ton of artifacts, so it's a good card. I play with Super Top. We had Super Top years before. We call it Scroll Rack, or vice versa, have you. Sensation Divining Top's good, don't get me wrong, but the ability to Scroll Rack is amazing, especially if you've got your portal shenanigans going on every turn. You can... Essentially, you're tutoring a new hand every turn in that case. This with the portal and the clock. Clock again, here we go. The clock's amazing. Vincer's Journal, as I said before, you've got all kinds of no max hand size. The life gain doesn't hurt. It helps you to get up enough life because there is some tempo that's out there. EDH decks that will just smash you in the face early before you get any of your stuff off. Now we're going to look at our creatures. Magister Sphinx I referred to a lot. This guy's pretty good as a 5/5 flyer, but when he comes into play, he sets somebody's life at 10. Now, we start off at 40. A lot of times, if you're playing some of the other variants like Kingdoms, the King starts off at 60. I'll get to that. That's a separate podcast. If you're curious, keep on the lookout for Kingdoms. Anyway, it's a really good card. It's really good to bounce and repeat and to copy and to whatever. Sharding Sphinx. Yeah, this is another little cutesy card. I could probably do without this one as well. It's more of a combat thing than anything else. But Sharding Sphinx is pretty good, especially if you've got your Steel Overseer out to put counters on all your artifact dudes. I don't know. It's cutesy. Aethersworn Educator. Great card. Just spot removal that taps. It's an artifact creature that taps. Here again, go Unwinding Clock. It's so good. Unwinding Clock is so good. Master of Ethereum. He probably represents our only beats. Well, besides Artifact Chroma there. But the +1 for each artifact, really good. Of course, the Master Transmuter. You got to have the Master Transmuter so that you can return your Ancient Den to your hand and put your Darksteel Forge down. Seems like a really good deal. Steel Hellkite. Here again, spot removal or mass removal. You can pay 0 to kill tokens. A lot of people don't think about that. Tokens are a thing. And since we brought this up, this is pretty much the Artifact Chroma. It's big, it flies, it has abilities it shouldn't have, it's dumb, it's an artifact, gotta play it. This is the one deck that's just an auto-include because, it's pro-red, pro-green. Consecrated Sphinx, because we're drawing cards, people. Let's face it, we want to draw cards. We're hungry. I have never, even with the no max hand size, not having any of those, I've never had to discard cards because just the sheer amount of mana production in this deck and the sheer amount of permanence on the board, you're going to be able to play them. And of course, we got to have the Sculptor because, everything's got to be cheaper. Now, I've saved one artifact till last to the last of the artifacts because, let's face it, it's hard to talk about Sharuum without our buddy Memnarch. Memnarch is deservedly his own deck. I had Memnarch built as the Memnarch ability for years. He's mean. So much so that I took it apart to when I started going through my tribal phase, and I built Tribal Mirror. There's no legendary mirror at all. Now, in the storyline, Memnarch created the mirror, so I figured he would be the perfect general. He's got blue in him, so that kind of works with artifacts a little bit. So I have him built this Tribal Mirror. But here, he's an all-star. He's the all-star. He's what you want to see. You've got your clock. You've got all your artifact mana. You are just stealing stuff left and right. Of course, you start with their artifact mana. Everybody's got a soul ring. It's crazy. He's so good. So good. I have won games with just casting Memnarch and Mana Rocks and stealing everything, which is not... Yeah, we're not going to judge sportsmanlike here, but yeah, it's really good. Gotta love the Memnarch. Now, I don't play with a whole lot of enchantments. Obviously, we got to have the O-Ring, the Ghostly Prison, and the Copy Artifact. Copy Artifact's kind of obvious. Did y'all know that's on the reserve list? Tutors. Got to have Tutors. We got to have the Diabolic Tutor, the Demonic Tutor. I use Beseech the Queen because more times than not, it's a tutor. Fabricate, because it is a tutor. Let's face it, for this deck, it's a 3-mana tutor. Tutors are pretty good. Board wipes are also good. We got the Languish. We got the Wrath. We got the Day. That normally works out for me. Well, we got the Martial Coup as well. That normally works out. Sometimes you need more, sometimes you need less, but with the amount of card draw and tutoring that you have, you just about always have it. Of course, you got to have your Time Warp. Time Warp's really good. Now, spot removal, there are times. The only spot removal I'm running, Exiles. I prefer this over like Sword because this is any permanent. It's not just creature. I don't have a whole lot of slots. Of course, you got to have the Impulse. Supplant Form. Another card that a lot of people laugh at. It does seem kind of fluff, but it returns a creature to your hand and makes a copy of it. Now, when you're returning Magister Sphinx to your hand, number one, you've already played Magister Sphinx, you've set somebody at 10. You play this. The Magister Sphinx goes back to your hand, you get a copy of it, you're setting somebody else at 10. And you've still got the Magister Sphinx in your hand to cast again and make a third player go down to 10. Now, if you can't win when the whole table's at 10 life and you're still at 40, you got problems. You're having some the shuffler hates you, as they say. Which, trust me, that spends most of my time. The shuffler hates... Anyway. Supplement form, I like it. There are many other uses for it. I thought about taking it out a couple times, but I just can't because of that, sweet interaction. Maybe something will come out in Ether Revolt, and I'll just have to put it in there. Also, hard to talk about artifacts and Artifact EDH without the Tezzeret boys. He's pretty good. Untapping artifacts is really good. Well, both of them are. I mean, Sharuum wouldn't be Sharuum without her buddy Tezzeret. That's how you know she's evil. Won't go into the lands. Whatever dual lands that I could find. Obviously, I play a few basics. It's hard for me, even when I play 5 colors, I always want to play some basics, because nothing is worse than getting Ghost Quartered or Path or something and you fail to find. So I'm always going to run 1 or 2 basics. Here, I think I'm running 2 of each color. But always run your basics. That way you're not completely screwed if somebody Blood Moons you or Primal Orders or whatever. Although Primal Order will hurt. It's bad. By the way, the triple sleeve deck fits nicely in the Dex protection box. I love those. Go out to your LGS, get you one. Makes a great Christmas present if anybody's watching this, and love those. I believe that's all I got for today. I appreciate y'all watching. Let me know if you want to see me cover anything else, and y'all have a good day. Thank you.